Hello everyone, welcome to the series on The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. And in this video, we are going to discuss whether the wife of Bath is an object of satire or an instrument of satire in the Prologue. Introduction. In Chaucer's The Wife of Bath's Prologue, the wife of Bath serves as both an object and an instrument of satire. Chaucer skillfully intertwines these roles to create a character who embodies contradictions, pokes fun at societal norms, and critiques religious and gender-based hypocrisies. Here's an exploration of how the wife of Bath operates in these dual roles. The wife as an object of satire. Chaucer crafts the wife of Bath with exaggerated traits and self-contradictory logic, making her a satirical portrait of medieval attitudes towards women, especially regarding marriage and sexuality. Exaggeration of female stereotypes. The wife of Bath embodies the traits medieval society associated with wayward or uncontrolled women. She is outspoken, sexually experienced, and unabashedly self-interested. Chaucer satirizes these stereotypes, exaggerating her marital history, 5 husbands and counting, and her unapologetic sexuality to make her a humorous, almost caricatured figure. Satirical view of religious hypocrisy. The wife claims to rely on experience over religious authority, yet she selectively uses biblical stories to justify her choices. This contradiction between her professed independence from religious authority and her selective reliance on it makes her a figure of satire, showing how people manipulate religious doctrine to suit personal desires. Undermining of idealized femininity. She portrays herself as a master manipulator in marriage, turning traditional ideals of submissive wives on their head. Her vivid tales of controlling her husbands and securing her own desires in marriage are satirical in their reversal of gender roles, humorously highlighting how medieval men might have feared women who didn't conform to expected standards. The wife as an instrument of satire. At the same time, Chaucer uses the wife of Bath as an instrument to critique societal norms around gender, power, and authority. Through her words and arguments, she becomes a vehicle for challenging conventional views on marriage, sexuality, and female agency. Critique of patriarchal authority. The wife's arguments undermine the authority of male writers and religious figures who often portrayed women as inferior or morally corrupt. Her witty rejoinders about marriage and sexuality question the legitimacy of the male-dominated perspectives. For instance, her references to biblical figures like Solomon and her interpretation of scriptural passages about marriage directly confront the male-authored restrictions imposed on women, exposing the gender biases within these teachings. Subversion of misogynistic ideals. Chaucer uses the wife's character to parody and satirize misogynistic ideals present in works by authors like Jerome and Theophrastus, who condemned women as immoral and deceitful. The wife's irreverent approach and her dismissive attitude towards these authorities challenge these ideals, suggesting that women can be self-assured, witty, and morally complex. Commentary on the institution of marriage. The wife's relationship with marriage is an exaggerated parody of contractual relationships in the medieval era, where marriage was often a practical or economic arrangement rather than a romantic one. Her marriages are based on financial control, sexual power, and strategic dominance rather than love, which she openly admits. Through her, Chaucer comments on the transactional nature of marriage and the ways women, constrained by societal expectations, might exploit or manipulate it to gain autonomy. Chaucer's dual satirical purpose. By making the wife of Bath an object and an instrument of satire, Chaucer captures the complexities of medieval gender dynamics and social hypocrisies. The wife's character allows Chaucer to critique the social structures that limits women's agency while also highlighting the contradictions in her own arguments. Satire of self-interest and manipulation. While the wife challenges traditional values, her self-serving nature and manipulation of her husbands are also satirical. Chaucer highlights how she twists ideas of authority and love to suit her desires. Her gleeful recounting of her tactics and control over her husbands demonstrates the absurdities of viewing marriage as a power struggle. A humanizing satire. Chaucer's satire of the wife is ultimately humanizing rather than purely mocking. By giving her a complex personality, he shows that people are often more nuanced than simple stereotypes. Her pride in her experiences and her unapologetic sensuality suggest Chaucer's respect for her autonomy, even as he humorously portrays her self-contradictions. Conclusion. Ultimately, the wife of Bath's role as both an object and an instrument of satire allows Chaucer to craft a rich and multifaceted character who embodies the paradoxes of medieval attitudes towards women and marriage. As an object of satire, she represents the stereotypes and anxieties associated with assertive, independent women in a male-dominated society. As an instrument of satire, she offers biting critiques of the gender, social and religious double standards of her time. This dual role gives Chaucer's Prologue its enduring wit and complexity, making the wife of Bath a powerful voice that challenges and entertains in equal measure. So this was the discussion on the wife of Bath's Prologue, where we discussed her character as an object and instrument of satire in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. This was the last video on the series on the wife of Bath's Prologue. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other work. Until then, goodbye and thank you.